Welcome to Haunt Talk. Today we are going to be talking about the Akron Haunted Schoolhouse and Laboratory. If you're familiar with this haunt, it's one of the original haunts. It's been around a long time.
Yeah, like 1973, 1974, around there. One of the first haunted houses that modernized haunts, because it used to be like black corridors and stuff like that. You know, this is one of the first ones to actually start having incorporating scenes and like more movie-like features. And also, if you're interested more in the history of this, we covered it in our documentary that we made 2 years ago, which is now free to watch on YouTube. Link will be in the description below, as well as a trailer for it. If you're not quite sure if you want to be invested in a free 2-hour movie that we made, you know,
You want to.
you should probably watch it, but hey. Also, make sure to subscribe if you have not. We're going to have a lot more reviews this year. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram, all kinds of fun content and all those things, so please do that. And as we always will be doing, we're going to be rating these on the categories of sets and props, actors, design, scare factor, and then overall, which overall is not an average. It's just how we feel about the haunted house overall. And before we cover that, after all those scores, before we go over overall, we'll be covering some other little things you might want to know and other little things that might not really be, they're not in a scoring anywhere, but just things we feel that are worth note. So, Kim, if you want to start us off on our first category, which is sets and props.
Sets and props. All right. We gave them a 9. Now, the Haunted Schoolhouse and Laboratory both have fantastic sets. If you aren't familiar with haunted houses very much, you would know that they were recently purchased by the same people who run the Factory of Terror. Mm-hmm. And let's just say that they did a lot of remodeling.
They did. And it seemed like, as far as I could tell, a little bit more in the the Haunted Laboratory.
Yes.
Than the Haunted School. Both saw quite a few renovations, quite a few updating, but I noticed at least a bit more in the laboratory.
Yes. And I mean, mind you, both places have a lot of really awesome sets.
Yeah.
And they just really amped it up.
Yeah. And I mean, these sets are, they're different, they're unique. It's not, the Haunted Schools and Laboratory feel so much different than other haunted houses. Like the sets they have, they're iconic at this point, like Dracula's Castle and the Schoolhouse, and you have the Tesla coil room in the Haunted Laboratory, which, I mean, these are things if you know what a Tesla coil is, and if you haven't been in the Haunted Schoolhouse, just imagine a gigantic one in a room shooting electricity that you're in. If you're like, that's not a thing that can happen, yes it is. Mm-hmm. And I love taking new people to it. And we had a person that had not been there with us in our group, and I hadn't even told her about it. And she was just kind of like, okay. When we get there, and electricity starts flying around, she's screaming, oh my god, is that safe? It's safe. It's safe. Doesn't look like it's safe, and that's what's awesome about it. Yes. There's so many good sets at this place. And I mean, the Schoolhouse doesn't really stick to a theme. Yes, it has some school themes, especially at the beginning, but it kind of delves into, some Dracula's Castle's in there. Eventually you go into a basement, there's a cool, worm thing, and most of the props there are homemade.
Yes.
Which is so cool.
There's some, really iconic props that they have in there. One of the original Giants.
Also mentioned in the documentary.
Yes, it is in the documentary. Yes. He's in there. There's just a lot of really awesome, and they're very immersive. You walk into the set and you were in the set,
Yeah. It's
really fantastic.
I mean, yeah. I mean, there's an attic scene, and they did improve on that from what I could tell as well. You go in there, it's just thunder and lightning, and a curtain's blowing like it's storming, and it's just so cool. There's a scene. I mean, the whole place is just scene after scene after scene after scene of just and it's, and again, we'll get into scares and actors, but it's really easy for them to scare you because you just walk on your scene and you're just looking at everything, and then people are and you're screaming like a little bitch because you're I don't even care to look for the actors at this point because this is just gorgeous. This is art that I'm looking at. So I mean, yeah, even if you're not in to haunted houses that much, you don't really like being scared that much, get over it, because this is something that you should really see, because so much work, so much passion. I mean, it just oozes from the place, and it's really historical.
Yes.
I think you should definitely check it out. I mean, I think we could just go on forever about how amazing this place looks, but there might be a couple faults here and there. A couple scenes were a little bit lackluster and didn't really seem to have much of a payoff, I guess. But for the most part, for the most part, I mean, it's really good. So.
Yes.
Next thing we'll move on to is actors.
Actors, we gave a 10.
Yeah.
They were great.
They were more than great, actually. I gave them the score 10, but yeah, not one of them broke character.
I mean, they were in the right spots. They just, just dark, transitions. Okay, there's a vortex tunnel in one of the haunts. The guy was standing in the dark, and all he did was go, "Hey!" Right. It scared the bejesus out of me.
It was, yeah, and it's just all of them had really good, or just really good. And I guess we didn't touch on this as sets and props. This is kind of both because these are controlled by actors. There's tons of puppets in this place.
Oh my god!
Which has been a Factory of Terror, which we don't know if we're reviewing that which you don't know if we're reviewing Factory of Terror this year or not. But you can go back and look at a review from before. But Factory of Terror loves their puppets, and they sure brought it here. And I'll tell you what, I love it. Cause, these things are because it's awesome because it's an animatronic, kind of, but it's controlled by an actor.
Yes.
So you don't have just a thing, someone's actually controlling it and it's coming at you. The one person in our group is great. She followed me around every single time. It was awesome.
Oh my god. She wouldn't go around the corners.
Yeah.
Because she was
so
afraid
terrified
that there was a puppet.
It was cool.
It was great.
But, all of them, in the line actors are great. There's the scientist dude.
Oh, yeah. I guess he's the mascot for the laboratory. And
how appropriate it was.
Oh, he was very inappropriate. But he was basically acting like a Nazi.
He was, because he's supposed to be the theme of he's a German scientist. Think what's that movie? Captain America, the first Captain America, that kind of thing, the mad German scientist,
Yeah, he had that Red Skull kind of thing.
He kept asking us to go in his gas chamber and doing the hail thing.
Doing
and But he did it in a, this is weird to say, he did it in a playful way, which I don't even know how that makes sense, but it's a thing that he did, and it worked. It was cool.
You could definitely tell it was his character.
Yeah, it was fun.
But it was kind of okay.
But yeah, every single actor, the energy they brought, every scare they brought, they were just, they were on point.
Yes, they were definitely in it to win it.
Yeah, and they weren't there weren't lots of repetitive lines. Everyone there was real creepy, and they were just doing their thing.
Yes.
So no one, sometimes you get a haunted house, you can tell that one actor is just kind of there boo, or whatever they're saying. You can tell they're just kind of they're there that night, and they don't feel, no, everyone's great. And there's tons of them. There's freaking everywhere. There were scenes where, there's one scene I remember, I walk in, there's a person dressed as in a ghillie suit, as a bush back here. Someone flies through a window, scares us. This guy comes up in my face here. I'm screaming, she's screaming, the person in front of us is screaming. We're all just screaming. It was great. And the hiding places for him too.
Yeah.
That's great.
Very, very effective.
Yeah, that's
very
great.
Effective.
Which I guess that brings us into our next thing, which is design. We gave this an 8.5.
8.5.
I'm going to start with the one downside of the design. This is kind of a downside. There's a lot of black hallways. I'm connecting you to the really elaborate scenes.
Yes.
That's... They do, in parts, they do amp it up by putting actors in some of them.
Yeah.
They put some lights, swirly laser lights in that.
And, sometimes it does help with the next scare. Case in point, there was a scare that was very effective with having a very black hallway.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh, Pete, that was... And I get scared. I don't get scared that easily, but this one, I screamed. I did not. Yeah. Which is funny, because I remember that, when I first went there, the same thing got me. But, yeah.
It's very effective. We're not going to spoil it. Just, it's effective.
But they even use the darkness in a good way a lot of the times. So that's really the one main negative. The other main negative was, and we don't know if this is a malfunction or not. We don't know, but there is a scene where you go into the basement of the schoolhouse, and you have to walk through a coffin, which is cool. The stairs were not lit. We could not see the stairs.
Yeah.
We had to go down so slowly because it was pitch black. And then when you get to the end, there's just two doorways. Well, one leads you back to there's a door that was makeup, and we're oh, okay. There was no one telling us where to go. As filled as the actors this place was, we don't know if there's supposed to be someone there to lead because the Schoolhouse. The Schoolhouse used to have an undertaker that would kind of guide you through the first little part of the basement. There was no one there. We waited, looked. There was no one in sight. So we're okay, I guess we just go. And like, so that part, that was a little sketchy. Yeah. But they did up on a lot of the design, I guess. Like there's like the room where you went in and you had to walk up the stairs and then walk back down. So it's more than just in a room, but nothing happened in that room.
Yeah, it was weird. It was kind of like just a way to use space, I guess.
Yeah, nothing happened in it, which was strange. Yeah. I like the idea that we're walking vertical, and that's, like I said, I love that about. And Miss Haunt also has a room that's going to surprise you because it may or may not move. But you'll know when you get to it. But yeah, that's what I'm going to say about that. They said they weren't really, this haunted house doesn't really do transitions that much. The lab's a little bit better for it again because it's very consistently themed as a lab.
Yes. They did have something in there that was, if you know the history of the laboratory, it might offend you, but it was very effective and very creepy, and I did enjoy it, but to know what the lab did in the past and have this scene, and I'm not going to spoil it for you, you need to go check it out, it was scary. Let's just say it was scary.
And another thing that's kind of with this and with the design category is they really used, in this instance I'm talking about the laboratory section, they really used that building's natural state, I guess I could say, to sort of heighten an entire, they didn't really do anything this whole scene. There was a scene like the floors have collapsed. And they're like, we're just going to make people walk around this and look down this terrifying. They have the vortex on the bottom. Like, you just look floor after floor and it's just a hole in the middle. Like, they didn't do anything besides put some props. But I mean, that's so cool. And like, they make you walk around it. And I really like the way they make you, like, they changed the design of the haunt a lot. I've noticed since last time we were there. It makes more sense now, like the way you go through things. One thing that we do, kind of another problem that we have, is there's a lot of like walking upstairs and walking downstairs in between the haunts, because there's like the first one, Schoolhouse is 3 floors, second's 4 floors. There's nothing on the stairs. Like, it's just like old graffiti of being in a school, and it takes you out of it. It's like, it just rips you out of it real quick. And I mean, it's not a big thing, but I think it'd be really simple, and I've always thought this, because it's always been this way. It's like, paint the walls black, and then light it with some LEDs. Make the stairs seeable, unlike what we were talking about before, but make it like, even if it's just like a red light with like black walls, you know, just creepier, like just a pulsating heartbeat, just anything. Like a light kind of throbbing in and out a little bit, you know, just kind of keep that ambience off, so when you get in, you know, you're not feel like you're ripped out and then pushed back in. It's a small thing, but I think it could help with the ambiance. Right. Next, we're going to move to Scare Factor, which we gave a 9.5 to.
It got us a lot. Yeah. Like, the puppets, oh my god, so much. And just little things. And like we pointed out before, they had the best, like, hiding spots.
They're just everywhere.
Just everywhere. There was one that came from below. And we're like, what? Like, it was just really, really well done.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, it's always been that way. Like, when there was original design, like, there's so many trapdoors and stuff. Like, they make it so, like, a lot of places you can tell, like, oh, the actor's going to come out there. And there's a couple spots where maybe you can, but it's funny, though. Some spots, you're like, they're going to come out of there, and then they're like, whoa, 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 from back here, and you're just like, ah. And that's pretty cool. And they really use distraction as a thing.
Yes.
Because every scene, they're going to come from somewhere different. So you're like, all right. Sometimes you're like, okay, you look at this thing, and then something comes from here. But sometimes you look at this thing, and then this thing just comes at you. So it's really, like, you just completely throws your guard. And there's a scare in every room. And almost every room at least got one of us.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, people underneath tables, rolling out on dollies, and just getting you. And I mean, there's everywhere. And it was pretty awesome. I mean,
very effective.
All right, now we're going to touch up on a couple things before we go to overall. This is kind of and again, this isn't really something knocking them, but we went there on opening night because they had tickets for $1.50, and we were like, oh, if we get there an hour before, we'll be able to get in for $1.50. Tickets are usually $30, which is pretty high, but for the quality of haunt you're getting, I'm not saying that it's outrageous, because I think it's actually a little bit less than it. I think it used to be like 35-ish.
I think so, yeah.
It's actually come down a little bit, I think. And you used to be able to purchase, though, a ticket for Schoolhouse or Laboratory. Now you're forced into a combo ticket, I think. I don't think you can do separate.
Yeah.
I don't think there was the option.
But it's worth it, so.
Yeah, I mean, so it's worth it, but we ended up not getting it for $1.50. There was like 20 people in front of us. We didn't make it, so that sucked. But then it was also opening night, and Factory Terror was opening night. They brought all the Factory Terror people and then let them all in before us. I had plans, and I'm like, oh, well, we'll make it in time. There's 12 queue lines. It took us a half hour to get through the first one. And we were in like 11, at queue line 11, and we were like, this is not good. And I mean, it was opening night. They let the Factory Terror people come. It just wasn't quite fair to the other people. However, we asked someone, like, hey, we already bought these tickets. You know, we can't make it in tonight. And he's like, oh, just come back tomorrow. It's fine. So it was resolved. So I mean, customer service was fine. You know, I mean, like, you know, we asked, and they said it's fine. We went back, had a great time the next night. It's not a big deal. You know, it's just a thing. Maybe like, I don't know, maybe handle that a little better. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not like pump 200 extra people in. We're like, okay, that's cool. But I mean, again, it's not a big deal or anything. It just takes us to our overall score, which we're giving it a 9. It's great. It's awesome. You should go.
Yes.
Now, if you haven't gone there and you live anywhere close, what's wrong with you? Go there. Like,
yeah. I mean, it's not that far from Cleveland. If you're in like the Akron area, I mean, it's literally down the street. It's well worth the drive out there.
For sure. And I mean, you said it's a historic haunt. I mean, if you live anywhere close, haven't checked it out, or if you're a haunt enthusiast, just check this place out. You really, really should. And if it's been a while since you've been there, check it out, because they've added a lot of new stuff, and it's better than ever. It's always been great. Now it's like borderline perfection, like just a few more tweaks here and there. And I mean, it's just amazing. Which, I mean, I think you have to understand, like this haunt is really great, but we're not going to give things a 10 unless it's like just crazy good, because I think there's usually room for at least a little bit of improvement.
Yeah.
And nothing is ever perfect. I mean, well, we might give a haunt a 10 this year. Don't know yet. Haven't been to all of them. We might give a haunt a 10 this year, but you know, it's going to be really hard to get that pretty much perfect score.
Yes.
Also, you can buy a season pass, I believe. If you go to the Factory Terror and Schoolhouse a lot, forget exactly how much it is, but if you go there a couple times, it pretty much pays for itself. And I think it's like a fast pass ticket, isn't it?
Yes.
And then you can go to the website if it's not. But that ends this review. And again, like I said, we covered this haunt in our documentary. Link is down below in the description. Subscribe to us, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.